The cold night air stung Jenny's skin as Taehyung and an unconscious Jungkook stumbled away from the burning mansion. Her heart pounded with fear, her mind swirling in confusion and panic. Jungkook's body was limp against her, and with every step she felt the warmth of his blood soaking into her clothes. We need to move faster. Taeyang urged, his voice strained as he scanned the surrounding darkness. They could still be after us. Jenny nodded through her legs were already trembling from exhaustion. Every sound around them, rustling leaves, distant footsteps, sent a shiver of fear down her spine. She could not lose Jungkook, not like this. Finally, they reached Taeyang's car, hidden at the edge of the estate. He opened the door and helped Jenny ease Jungkook onto the back seat. His chest rose and fell in shallow breaths, his face pale and contorted in pain. Jenny's tears blurred her vision as she leaned over him. Jungkook, please hold on. Taeyang quickly started the car and sped off, the night flashing past them in a blur of lights and shadows. Janice could not tear her eyes away from Jungkook's still form. The image of him shielding her from the attacker's bullet was seared into her mind. He had risked his life for her. The car ride felt endless, the silence between them heavy with unspoken fears. Jenny's hands trembling as she tried to keep pressure on Jungkook's wound. She could feel his heartbeat slowing, his breath becoming more ragged. Taeyang, we have to get him to a hospital, she said, her voice shaking. Taeyang glanced back at her through the rear-view mirror, his expression grim. We can't. If we go to a hospital, they will find us. Jenny's heart dropped. She knew he was right. The rival gang was still out there hunting them, but the thought of Jungkook slipping away, his life fading before her eyes, was unbearable. Then what to do? She whispered, her voice barely audible. Taeyang's jaw clenched. I know a place. It's not far, but we are going to have to trust them. Jenny looked down at Jungkook, her heart itching. She had no choice but to trust Taeyang now. The car sped through the streets, waving through narrow alleys and hidden paths. Finally, they pulled up in front of an old rundown building at the edge of the city. Taeyang quickly got out and helped Jenny carry Jungkook inside. The building was dark and eerily quiet. But soon a door creaked open and a man in his late 40s stepped out. His face was lined with age, his eyes sharp with suspicion. Taeyang, the man greeted, his voice low, you brought trouble with me, you. Taeyang nodded grimly, we need your help, it's Jungkook. The man's eyes flicked to Jungkook's slim form and his expression softened, bring him in. They carried Jungkook into a small room where the man, a former underground doctor, began to examine him. Jenny watched in silence, her hands clenched into fists as he prayed for Jungkook to survive. Every second felt like an eternity. After what felt like hours, the doctor turned to them, wiping his hands clean. He's stable for now, but he lost a lot of blood. It's a miracle he's still alive. Jenny let out a shaky breath, her legs giving way as she collapsed into a chair. Relief flooded her, but it was quickly replaced by a deep, etching worry. Jungkook wasn't out of danger yet. Well, have to stay here for a while. Taeyang said, his voice quiet. It's not safe to go back. Jenny nodded, her eyes never leaving Jungkook. She could not shake the feeling that this was far from over. The rival gang would not stop until they had what they wanted. And Jungkook, despite his strength, was now more vulnerable than ever. As the hours passed, Jenny sat by Jungkook's side, watching over him as he lay unconscious. His face was pale, his breathing shallow. She reached out gently, brushing a strand of hair from his forehead. I'm sorry, she whispered, her voice breaking. I never meant for any of this to happen. She thought back to the moment they first met, the cold, unfeeling Mafia boss who had taken her life and turned it upside down. But now, seeing him like this, she realized just how much he had changed. He was not just a cruel Mafia leader anymore. He was the man who had risked everything to protect her. Tears welled up in her eyes as she leaned closer, her voice trembling. Please wake up, I need you. The room was silent, save for the soft beeping of the heart monitor. Jenny's heart ached with the weight of everything she had been through. She didn't know what the future held, but one thing was clear: Jungkook had become more than just a contract, more than just the cold, heartless man she thought she knew. Hours later, just as the first light of dawn crept through the cracks in the window, Jungkook stirred. His eyes fluttered open, and for a moment he seemed disoriented. But when his gaze found Jenny, a weak smile tugged at the corners of his lips. "Jenny," he whispered, his voice hoarse. Tears spilled down her cheeks as he took his hand, her heart swelling with relief. "You are awake?" Jungkook reached in pain but squeezed her hand gently. "I thought I lost you." Jenny shook her head, her voice thick with emotion. "You saved me. You almost died saving me." Jungkook's eyes softened, and for the first time, Jenny saw the walls around his heart begin to crumble. He reached up gently, cupping her cheek. "I could not let anything happen to you, not you." For a moment, they simply stared at each other, this unspoken feeling between them finally surfacing. Jenny's heart raced as she leaned closer, her lips brushing against his in a soft, tender kiss. When she pulled away, Jungkook's eyes were filled with a mixture of love and regret. "I'm sorry, Jenny, for everything." Jenny shook her head, tears piling down her cheeks. "You don't have to apologize. I understand now." Jungkook's grip on her hand tightened, and for the first time, Jenny felt the sense of peace between them. The danger was far from over, but in that moment they had each other.